Sign up for a year and pay less than 71 pesos per month. Visit tmt.ph/premium to get your free 30 days of the Manila Times Premium.
What's true love? Is it having fun na kasama sila?
Dito ba? May true love?
Naman! Cause getting a Pru-Life UK insurance plan for you and your loved ones? That's true love.
It's when you say, for you, my life is insured.
That's true love.
Because I care, our health is assured. That's true love.
For our future, our investments are in place.
That's true love.
So you don't worry. My retirement is planned for.
That's true love.
When your life, health, investments, and retirement are covered, that's true love. That's true love.
Good day. Thank you for joining us on the Manila Times Online Business Forum, titled Insurance, Truth, and Consequence, where we get the lowdown on modern pre-need plans and their repercussions. My name is Defort Villaserat, the Manila Times or TMT editor. I'm also your co-moderator for today. Co-moderating with me is Conrad Carino, TMT editor. Hi, Conrad.
Yeah, good morning, Defort.
I know you have health insurance as much as I do, but I have to ask, do you have life insurance?
Definitely at my age, I should have one. And we got that amid the pandemic. I won't tell you which company, but I now feel more secured with life insurance, with
Well,
having
course,
life insurance.
It's not just for people of a certain age, but it's really now for everyone who's capable of earning and producing and generating their income to be able to finance an insurance plan, right?
Yes, definitely. I would definitely say everybody should get insurance, especially those who are earning a living.
Well, I think we have a lot of examples where the need for this is really not so much pre-need, but sometimes it's like it was needed yesterday. So like, I have to ask also, how's your health?
Well, I got COVID in September last year, and I thought my health won't ever be the same again. But surprisingly, with some modifications in my diet, like I now eat less red meat and less rice, and I do intermittent fasting. So remarkably, I have recovered from my bout with COVID last year, and I think I'm healthier right now. So you have to put a conscious effort.
You have lifestyle adjustments, and then you also have financial literacy adjustments in terms of what you set aside also for not just the things you need, or rather insurance suddenly becomes a little bit more in the needs category rather than just a someday maybe kind of expense line.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you cannot treat insurance like it's something like a by the way thing. No, you really have to consciously budget for that. I highly advise that.
Well, it's good to know that your health is on the upswing. So now, what's the lowdown on the Insurance Commission? Have your sources been giving you any feedback about any rumors even about who will succeed Commissioner Dennis Funa after his term expires?
Well, what I've got are simply rumors, and I'd rather wait for an official confirmation. But definitely, once we get word of who will be the next insurance commissioner, we'll break it out in the Manila Times. We're waiting for that.
Any names in the running?
Nah, I don't know, but maybe it can be an insider, one of the deputy commissioners. I don't know. I mean, let's just wait for the announcement, and I'm excited about that too.
Well, it's good that you mentioned Deputy Commissioner because one of our guest speakers is in fact from the Insurance Commission and will be representing Commissioner Funa in terms of giving a statement from their agency. His name is Ferdinand George Florendo. Good day, Deputy Commissioner Florendo. How are you? I think
good morning, Defort. Yes, everyone. Good morning.
Yeah. So thank you for. Do you prefer to be called Ferdinand or George?
Bong.
Bong. Okay. Thank you, Bong, for being a keynote speaker in our conversation about modern insurance in the developing market for the Philippines. I understand that even to this day, the projections of the growth for the industry is not quite what was intended or expected, even because of the pandemic. But we're also keen on hearing your statement from the Insurance Commission in a short while. Would you perhaps be able to give us any clue about who the next commissioner might be?
Well, everyone's wanting to know who the next commissioner will be, and as mentioned earlier, there's a lot of names being floated, but we have no idea. We just have to wait for word from the palace on who's going to be anointed. But having said that, of course, we in the commission continue to work and move forward with the leadership of our commissioner, Dennis. And what he's saying is that we just continue with what the programs are currently and wait for the announcement.
So moving forward, we'll just have to ask you to wait for the meantime while we welcome the other speakers on our panel. So please stay with us as Conrad introduces our next keynote speaker, or
Yes.
rather welcomes.
Yes, the fourth graciously joining us all the way from Toronto, Canada. Our second keynote speaker
Ontario.
From Ontario. Our second keynote speaker is the head of sustainability and chief of marketing officer of CMO at Allianz PNB Life, Mr. Gino Riola. Hello, Mr. Riola. Good morning.
Good morning, Conrad. Indeed, I am taking this forum from Toronto, but it's a great privilege to be with all.
Yeah. Toronto is 13 hours behind Manila, right? So what time is it there right now?
That is correct. It's currently 9:10 in the evening.
Is it snowing there?
It is. It has been. We've had about 6-7 centimeters of snowfall.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So then good evening to you, sir. May we call you Gino?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Okay, thanks, Gino. We really appreciate your staying up late in a winter wonderland to share with us your experience and insights on the insurance landscape in the Philippines today. So please stand by while the fourth welcomes our third guest.
Our third keynote speaker is the lone rose among us thorns here, and she is the chairman of Pro-Life UK in the Philippines, and a thought leader who is also very much in demand in the speaking circuit. She is none other than Imelda Ida Chongson. Good day, Ms. Chongson.
Hi, hello, the Ford, and
Thank you
hello.
for joining us. Yes. May we call you Ida?
Yes, please do call me Ida. I'm more comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ida.
Thank you, Ma'am Ida. We are honored and grateful for your being our third speaker in the Manila Times Online Business Forum titled Insurance, Truth and Consequence.
We're also honored and grateful to the corporation that you chair, Pro-Life UK in the Philippines, for being our special partner in order to make today's forum possible.
That's nice. That's nice to know. I actually wasn't aware of that one, but yeah.
Yes, thank you for being our special partner.
I just want to say hello also to Insurance Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner Bong Florendo. Nice to see you here as well. And yeah, special thanks to Dante and Blanca for the invitation.
Yes, thank you. As for our organization partners, Conrad, who do we want to thank?
Yeah, we'd like to express our gratitude to the British Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, or BCCP, the French Chamber of Commerce and Industry in the Philippines, the Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Chamber of Real Estate Builders, or rather the Chamber of Real Estate and Builders Associations, or CREBA, the Davao City Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or DCCCII, the Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines, or FINEX, the Italian Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, or ICCPI, the Islamic Dawah Council of the Philippines, or IDCP, the Spanish Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, or La Cámara, the Management Association of the Philippines, or MAP, the Nordic Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI, the Voice of Business, and PCCI NCR, the Philippine Center for Islam and Democracy, and She Talks Peace. And special thanks goes out to our media partner, the Manila Times TV.
The Manila Times is also thankful for the continuous support of our special and organization partners. And with that, let's get the lowdown on insurance truth and consequences, as presented by our first keynote speaker. Now, our speaker has over 9 years of experience in insurance regulation and supervision. He supervises non-life, life, mutual benefit association or MBA, trust, pre-need, brokers and insurance pools, and health maintenance organization or HMO divisions in their examination and verification of financial conditions and methods of doing business of entities engaged in the insurance business. Also pre-need MBAs, trusts for charitable uses, and HMOs. He currently represents the Insurance Commission or IC in the Finance Sector Forum and the Philippine Interpretations Committee, acting as the chairman of the IC-ASEAN Working Committee on Financial Services Liberalization, the IC Focal Group for Initiatives on Islamic Banking and Finance, and the International Financial Reporting Standard. Now, after graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration at the University of the Philippines, also part of the Battle of Katipunan now in UAAP. He earned this Master's in Business Administration at Washington University, Olin School of Business in Missouri, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Deputy Commissioner Florendo. Bong, the screen is yours.
Dafford, thank you for that. To all the participants, guest speakers, and organizers of this event, our colleagues from the insurance industry, good morning. Before anything else, I would like to thank the Manila Times for organizing this online insurance forum on insurance truth and consequence. This forum could not be more relevant, and hopefully having the Insurance Commission alongside key industry players will help shed light on some of the most crucial aspects of insurance, as well as highlight the significant role that insurance plays in our economy. As of June 30, 2022, the insurance industry's total assets already amounts to 2 trillion pesos. That's almost double the assets held by insurance companies in 2016. We expect further growth as insurance companies continue to increase their capital to meet the 1.3 billion pesos minimum net worth requirement by the end of the year. In terms of premium income, we have seen a remarkable 50% increase in 6 years. That's from 253 billion pesos in 2016 to 379 billion pesos by the first half of 2022. The country performed better than average in the world during the pandemic. While an OECD report on global insurance market trends in 2021 showed that in average, gross premiums declined by 3% in 60 jurisdictions over the world during the pandemic, the industry's premiums grew 308 billion pesos in 2019 to 331 billion pesos in 2020, showing approximately 7% increase in gross premiums. Now, while the Philippine insurance industry continues to grow, these numbers still lag behind other jurisdictions. For example, our insurance penetration rate, which refers to the total insurance premiums as a percentage of a country's gross domestic product or GDP, has not gone above 2%. That's 2% in the past 6 years. This is low compared to other jurisdictions and even in ASEAN, where Malaysia has a 5% insurance penetration rate, while Singapore is currently at 10.9%. Outside of ASEAN, we can look at the member states of the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, which has an average penetration rate of 9.4%. In the September 9, 2022 report of the Manila Times pointed out that the Philippines lags behind its ASEAN counterparts in terms of financial literacy. These relatively low levels of financial literacy in the country certainly contribute to the slow growth of the Philippine insurance industry. Now, there are various factors and reasons why the Philippines lag behind other countries in terms of financial literacy and insurance awareness. Here, I wish to pinpoint and discuss these factors and measures that the Insurance Commission, undertakes to address these issues. So, the slow growth of financial literacy in the Philippines can be attributed to several factors. On the economic side, the prevalent poverty contributes to the low financial literacy in the country. Despite being among the fastest growing economies in the region, poverty remains to be a pressing issue, with the Philippine Statistics Authority reporting as many as 3.5 million families to be living in poverty as of 2021. For these families which already struggle in meeting the most basic necessities such as food and shelter, insurance is a discretionary expense. And this is true not only in the Philippines, but in other jurisdictions. In an OECD study, it was found that insurers all over the world experience a decline in their premium income as consumers reduced discretionary spending, which includes insurance, in order to manage the impact of the pandemic. And because the Philippines has more people below the poverty line, the insurance industry has experienced a steeper decline in premium income. Now, on the cultural side, insurance has a negative connotation, with many still associating it with death, accidents, and other unfortunate events. This negative reputation surrounding anything insurance-related tend to make insurance products less appealing to many Filipinos. I'm sure all of you have experienced talking about insurance probably to your parents, and they would say, why are you talking about insurance? Do you want me to die? Do you want to claim? These ideas continue to linger. In addition to economic and cultural reasons, other factors like geographic constraints also limit access to insurance and financial literacy programs, which in turn affect the growth of the insurance industry. As the Philippines is an archipelagic country, farmers and fisher folk in far-flung areas tend to have a very limited access to financial products, including financial literacy programs. Unfortunately, for this particular sector, the move towards digitization insofar as financial products and services are concerned remain to be of little consequence as of present. Finally, another crucial factor which affects the demand for and interest in insurance products is the perceived unreliability of insurance companies. For many Filipinos, still air concerns on the timeliness of their claims payments, further discouraging them from availing of insurance products. Past experiences of claimants on insurance and pre-need companies which have gone bankrupt have likewise negatively affected consumer interest in insurance. Having said that, your IC, the Insurance Commission, continues to put in place measures to improve the level of financial literacy in the country, improve the insurance penetration rate, and address issues and misconceptions related to the insurance industry. One of the IC's key initiatives in addressing the low financial literacy and insurance penetration rate in the country is the introduction of microinsurance in the mid-2000s to cater to the needs of Filipinos in the low-income sector. Microinsurance was intended to complement microfinance and micro-entrepreneurship. Since then, various initiatives have been launched to further develop and expand the reach of microinsurance in the country. In fact, one of the key features of Republic Act number 10607, or the amended insurance code, which was enacted in 2013, is a provision on microinsurance, which aims to provide coverage to low-income families or individuals with limited savings. Hence, under the law, the amount of premium for microinsurance products must not exceed 7.5% of the daily minimum wage in Metro Manila. So if you compute that, if the daily minimum wage is at 500, on average 7%, that would be probably 35, 40 pesos in premiums. Now, the microinsurance sector has grown remarkably over the years. As a matter of fact, the Philippines is known to be, at the forefront of microinsurance. As of the second quarter of 2022, the contribution or premium production of the sector has reached 5.5 billion pesos. This reflects a 197% increase from the 1.9 billion pesos in 2017. Now, the growth of the microinsurance industry is a product of the coordinated efforts among the IC, the private insurance companies, and of course, the BSP and the SEC. The IC, in addition to issuing rules and regulations, also conducts financial literacy seminars and workshops in different provinces. These activities aim to educate the public about the salient features of microinsurance and how it could help improve their financial literacy resiliency. The IC also collaborates with other government and financial institutions such as the Bangko Sentral and the Securities and Exchange Commission in conducting the annual Financial Education or FinEd Expo, which aims to promote financial awareness, improve financial management, and clarify issues and misconceptions about insurance. Now, to ensure greater financial inclusivity and in order to properly cater to the demands of the highly digitized business environment, the IC also encourages and supports the use of various technologies and insurtech innovations. As a matter of fact, to date, the IC has already issued guidelines on the adoption of a regulatory sandbox framework, not only for insurtech innovations, but also for fintech innovations in the pre-need and HMO industries. Now, for those who aren't aware, a regulatory sandbox is a framework which actually enables companies, insurance, pre-need, or HMO companies, to collaborate with technology and other innovative partners in conducting live experiments in a controlled environment. This allows companies to test run innovative ideas for which no regulations currently exist under a smaller scale. We believe that the implementation of the regulatory sandbox framework is a defining moment in the Philippine insurance regulation, as it allows, again, companies to experiment on a smaller scale on products where there is no current regulation. If the experiment works, then we can replicate it. We can issue regulations that would, of course, encourage the entire industry to undertake whatever it is that was successful. Those not successful, of course, we stop, we limit, we issue regulations to control them. Now, the IC also leveraged technology at the height of the pandemic. Back when social distancing measures and travel restrictions were strictly imposed, thereby rendering the traditional face-to-face selling of insurance products impracticable. To remedy this and to ensure continuous operations of insurance companies, as well as the unhampered access of the public to insurance products, the IC, your IC, allowed the remote selling of insurance products through the use of video conferencing and other technologies that support remote communication. Recognizing the benefits derived from this arrangement, the IC later on institutionalized remote selling as a permanent mode of selling insurance products. To supplement this move, the IC also issued guidelines governing the electronic commerce of pre-need and HMO companies. The IC also makes sure that insurance companies and other regulated entities deliver on their promises to beneficiaries and claimants to ensure the integrity of the financial market. One of the key measures taken by the IC was the streamlining of the audit process of IC-regulated entities to provide a more timely information not only for decision makers, but also for the IC in relation to crafting and enforcement of relevant regulatory enforcement measures. This, in combination with the increase in minimum net worth requirements provided in the amended code, ensures that companies have sufficient buffer to pay claims as they occur. Now, what I have cited are just some of the measures and initiatives that the IC has implemented and carried out. As a regulatory body, we continue to work to promulgate sound policies that will foster growth for the industry and protect the welfare of the insuring public. Nevertheless, we recognize that it may take some time before we see the impact of the measures currently being undertaken by the IC, and that these measures are not sufficient to tackle all issues and difficulties faced by insurance companies. As can be observed, the growth of the insurance industry in the Philippines is mostly driven by the amendments to the insurance code in 2013. And given the change of the socio-economic landscape, changes in the financial market, and in global standards, the IC thinks it is high time to revisit the existing amended code. And among the proposed amendments is the inclusion of the HMO and pre-need industries in the coverage, since these industries are also being regulated and supervised by the IC. For those who are not aware, the HMO industries regulation was transferred to the IC via a presidential order. And to date, we have no laws governing HMO or the HMO industry other than what the IC issues. And then we believe that, having a law that would govern this would provide more structure and power for the IC to regulate this industry. Now, on the role of the insurance in our economy, well, as we all know, insurance has been proven to be an effective risk transfer mechanism, which helps individuals, families, and even businesses recover from financial loss or losses caused by unfortunate incidents such as sudden death of the breadwinner in a family, unforeseen events like accidents, as well as act of nature and other calamities. Insurance also plays a critical role in improving our resilience against extreme weather events and natural calamities. This is important because the Philippines was named as one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world. Being in the Pacific Ring of Fire, the Philippine archipelago is seismically active and experiences frequent earthquake and volcanic activities. On top of this, the Philippines is also located within the typhoon belt, exposing the country to an average of 20 typhoons every year. One of the more recent destructive typhoons that we had is Typhoon Noru, locally known as Karding, which left an estimated 3 billion pesos worth of agricultural damages, 23 million pesos worth of infrastructure damage, and a death toll of 12 in its wake. In times like this, insurance would help the government in rebuilding devastated communities. Instead of government shouldering all recovery efforts and programs, insurance can help in acting as a safety net that cushions the effects of disasters by providing readily available financial assistance to beneficiaries and claimants. The insurance industry also helps finance the government through the company's investments in government bonds. It likewise powers the economy and the corporate sector through investments in stocks of companies listed in the stock market. Back in 2019, the Insurance Commission even issued a circular to encourage insurance or reinsurance companies to be key enablers and participate in the infrastructure investment programs, which is aligned with the government's Build, Build, Build project. In summary, insurance has a big impact on the economy, in the society, and in the individual. Thus, it is the goal of the IC to ensure that every Filipino understands the relevance and importance of insurance. Even though the insurance industry is smaller compared to the banking sector, the industry is still of great significance as it holds over 2 trillion pesos worth of assets that can be utilized to further fund and develop our economy. To this end, the IC continues to hold financial literacy programs and seminars to improve financial literacy in the country. At the same time, the IC continues to issue and promulgate regulations to ensure proper and timely handling of consumer concerns. Recently, the Financial Consumer Protection Bill was passed as an act, and the IC, together with other financial regulators, have started crafting an IRR on consumer protection, which we hope will be, finalized by the end of the year and issued next year. So rest assured, the Insurance Commission is doing everything in its power to promote the growth of the insurance industry, including supporting and pushing for the amendments to the insurance code so as to ensure the growth of the industry without compromising consumer rights. That said, we in the Insurance Commission expect our regulated entities and partner organizations to work hand in hand toward the realization of our shared goal, that is to build a financially inclusive society for Filipinos. I hope I have shed light to certain matters which concern us all. Once again, Danforth, thank you. Thank you to the Manila Times for this opportunity, and I hope that this will be an interesting and enlightening session for all of the participants. Maraming salamat po.
Yeah. Thanks, Sir George, for presenting the statement from the Insurance Commission on behalf of Commissioner Funa. Let me share you one thought. There's this joke among us car lovers that we spend much more on our cars than on our health, and that we would rather insure our cars first than our own health. I mean, it's an irony anyway. That's a topic we can discuss maybe in next forums, but that is a reality. Now, regarding your statement from the Insurance Commission, Sir George, let me assure you that we have a lot of questions about that later, but to be safe, we'll ask them during our open forum segment. For the meantime, can we ask 1 or 2 queries now as time permits? The fourth, do you have any questions for the Deputy Commissioner of the Insurance Commission?
Actually, Bong, I heard you mention about how you collaborate with the BSP and the SUC along with the private sector, especially on the annual expo that you have for information dissemination and financial literacy. But I was wondering, have you, or at what stage are you in collaboration with cooperatives organized throughout the archipelago? Because it's very surprising how much they make a lot of money in each of their areas, and there's a lot of untapped potential in being able to channel cooperative funds, which are sizable, into insurance and community resiliency programs.
Dafford, you're absolutely right. The cooperatives is definitely, well, to me personally, actually a gold mine in the making. Now, just to provide you a backgrounder, when we started microinsurance in the mid 2007, 8, 9, the IC, the DOF, the SEC, and the CDA actually signed.
That's the Cooperative Development Authority, right?
Right, the Cooperative Development Authority. We signed an agreement with them to develop microinsurance, because what we have noticed then was that there were a lot of cooperatives that were doing what they call abuluyan, or they contribute kitty money, and at the end of the year, whoever dies or meets an accident, they provide funding, right?
Yes.
We wanted to formalize that, and so we entered into this agreement, tripartite agreement with the SEC and the CDA, whereby the co-ops were now encouraged to open up MBAs, or mutual benefit associations. And as a matter of fact, there were a number that started doing that. And I'm happy you raised that, because currently that continues to be an issue. What do I mean by that? We've had a particular MBA sometime 2015. This MBA was created by the cooperative, right? So the members are actually the same. And unfortunately, both leaderships were fighting. We're having issues on who should hold on to the money and contribution, to the extent that the co-op started issuing abuluyan again. And so I'm glad that you raised that, and hopefully, because of this, we actually plan to reach out to the CDA to review this, because as you very well know, cooperatives, their composition are either farmers, fisher folks, or even workers in factories, right?
Precisely the people you want to reach in terms of national literacy levels, right?
Exactly. And I'm sure if we can work more closely with the CDA and push this forward, our penetration rate, our literacy rate to the masses would shoot to the sky, I'm sure. Yes. But on that, definitely we are working on with them together with the SEC, and we continue to try to address issues. And again, it's different when you formalize insurance, because under the Abuluyan program, you don't know where the money goes after that year. But this particular MBA that we talk about, people who retire in their 60s, 65, whatnot, they get their contributions back because they contributed. But in the Abuluyan product of cooperatives, the informal Abuluyan, they get nothing. So it's different when you formalize, these activities and this being regulated. Yeah.
So again, protection is needed for our farmers and fisherfolk in terms of all their hard work going into these informal mutual funds.
Absolutely.
So thank you for clarifying that and shedding some light into this tunnel of hope that we can probably build for penetration in insurance and financial literacy to the average Filipino. So we'll be topping up more questions for that. In the meantime, Conrad, I think we'll be introducing our second keynote speaker.
Yes, thank you very much, Dafort. Our second speaker is also a Blue Eagle like you, Dafort. He has a Bachelor of Science in Management Engineering from the Ateneo de Manila University. And true to the spirit of Magis or more, he went for a double major with a Bachelor of Arts in Economics, also from the Ateneo de Manila University. He went on to get a direct marketing diploma from the Institute of Direct Marketing UK and a master's in business administration from the Richard Ivey School of Business. He has been a vice president for sales and marketing at Allianz Global Marketing and head of regional marketing management at Allianz Asia Pacific. He was also head of regional market management at Allianz Asia Pacific. And since November 2020, throughout the pandemic, he has steered the marketing efforts of Allianz PNB Life. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you, live from snowy Canada, Chief Marketing Officer and Sustainability Head of Allianz PNB Life, Mr. Gino Riola. Mr. Gino, the screen is yours.
Conrad and DeFort, thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here, especially in the presence of the Deputy Commissioner and the Chairperson, Ida Chongson.
Thank you very much.
Life. Thank you once again for the invitation. I didn't want to go into the Ateneo versus UP rivalry, but you went there. So we'll see what happens in game 2. And hopefully we make it, of course, to game 3. But don't take it against me, Deputy Commissioner Bong. We still have the forum to look at afterwards. I'll share my screen and I do have a slight or a small presentation to share with all of you. Again, with the intention of being true to the theme of this morning's forum. Allianz PNB Life, we secure your future is our purpose. And I just wanted to share a little bit about the organization that I represent first. Our company is a member of the Allianz Group. And if unfamiliar to you, Allianz is an organization with more than 150,000 employees worldwide. I have been with Allianz for close to 2 decades. And it's been a great privilege getting to meet and work in different countries. As you see there, we have operations in more than 70. In fiscal year 2021, again, Allianz being a global organization, we achieved total revenues of 148 billion euros. And we also have an asset management firm to complete our operations. The 155,000 employees are all over the world, and we do have quite the presence in the Asia Pacific region. As you see there, it makes up around 13% of the group. We still have a very strong presence, of course, in Germany, which is where our head office is based. Allianz is headquartered in Munich, but was actually founded in Berlin. You might be familiar, to those of you who follow sports, of the Allianz Arena, which is one of the different stadiums that we have the world over. I have had the privilege of working in the Allianz head office, and as mentioned, it's something really to be extremely proud of, and it's a joy to work with colleagues from various countries. We are also the #1 insurance brand. As a marketing professional, this is something I'm extremely proud of. Allianz made it to the Interbrand's global brands ranking once again as the #1 insurance brand with a value of 15.2 billion, and last year had a good growth of 18%. Something we're very excited about. It is World Cup season, of course, but Allianz aspires to be an insurer of sport. And we look forward to the next iterations of the Olympics, the next one, of course, happening in Paris. Something that you may have shared in terms of my responsibilities is sustainability. This is a key component of our DNA within the group. As you may be familiar, there are 17 sustainable development goals, 3 of which are focused in Allianz. We do have our own initiatives in the Philippines. I'm extremely proud, for example, of our financial literacy programs. The Deputy Commissioner had spoken about the importance of financial literacy, especially in a region or in a country rather, where in contrast to other regional players, we rank very low in the totem pole. This is something extremely important for us. Another of our initiatives is youth empowerment, something that we're very passionate about. We do have organizations like SOS Children's Village and the World Wildlife Fund as partners in this regard. And Another one that is personally something I am quite passionate about, and that is cycling. I have shared with a number of colleagues and friends, or even those that I meet up with here in Toronto, that it's quite amazing how we can now cycle along EDSA and along C5, and sustainable mobility is another one of our key initiatives in the Philippines. But onto the topic, and it's something that we really felt was extremely strong in terms of how we bridge the insurance gap, which is the key topic of this morning's forum. And I'll go straight into that with regard to our insights in the market. The Deputy Commissioner had spoken about the culture where in the Philippines, unfortunately, life insurance has a bit of a stigma. He had spoken also about accessibility being a challenge, and the reliability of insurance companies in terms of claims payments. What we say from Allianz is that we are mindful of these challenges, and this is part of what we within the industry are really pushing towards fixing and resolving. That 2% insurance penetration rate is indeed very low for a country like ours, where the economy and the industry is extremely robust. The Allianz Group comes up every year with a global wealth report. And in contrast, actually, to global numbers, where it roughly places at around 2% in terms of gross financial assets growth, the Philippines actually reported a 10.4 increase in gross financial assets. What this means is that there is most certainly that increase in affordability. What we're seeing also in the Philippines, what we've done is we've worked with research firms. We did two in particular in 2022. And what we did was to analyze and understand the awareness of the public, and especially because of the pandemic, the awareness for the importance of protection and health has most certainly increased. But back to the point about the economy, the Philippines actually has among the highest economic growth rates. These are, as reports will state, due to the opening or the reopening of the economy. There is most certainly increased domestic consumption, even within cycling, for instance, bikes being purchased, restaurants popping up in places where you wouldn't expect, but that this consumption is driving most certainly economic growth. And of course, there is, as the Deputy Commissioner had mentioned, the Build, Build, Build program, which has led to increased investments in infrastructure, which is, of course, contributing towards economic growth as well. The numbers are fairly straightforward. The growth last year was around 6%, and as of the second quarter, 7.4%, rivaling or in fact beating most regional players within the Asia-Pacific region. With a forecast of 6.5 versus, again, the average of 5, we remain very bullish about our Philippine economy. Now, what of the industry? Yes, indeed, as of the second quarter results, there was a slight decline in gross written premium, but this rebound in terms of NBAPE, or new business annualized premium equivalent, is a positive development in terms of how the industry is recovering from the effects of the pandemic. And what most certainly has helped is what the Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner had mentioned, the ability for financial advisors, or life changers, as we call them at Allianz PNB Life, to conduct sales in a digital fashion, and to do this within the safety of their home offices, for example, has most certainly helped. And it was very important for these initiatives to be introduced in order to bring about this rebound in the industry. Now, the topic really is about this, and that is bridging the insurance gap. I share often, and I do date myself. I graduated in 1998. And back then, when it was President Fidel Valdez Ramos who was pushing for an insurance vision, the target was, as I recall, 20% insurance penetration by 2020. We are 2 years past that number, and unfortunately, we still are at 2%. The first point I really would like to share with your audience is that this requires all hands on deck. I'm privileged and pleased to be here with PruLife UK. I have been in various forums with other insurance companies and colleagues from within the industry. And what this really requires is a concerted effort in terms of all of us putting together good ideas in terms of new product development, addressing also what the Deputy Commissioner had spoken to in terms of accessibility, especially as he highlights that we are a country that does not necessarily lend itself to ease of purchase. The second point is the enhancement of financial literacy training. One of our key sustainability initiatives is what we reference in Allianz BNB Life as Kagapay. It's a beautiful program where we've reached out to the very far-flung places in the country. Recently, I was in Negros, and prior to that, Pangasinan, and we're looking forward to going to different far-flung places in the country and speak to groups of people or communities, perhaps, that are not actually able to make sense of financial awareness. And I can tell you from experience that it just comes through as a very important need. Kagapay is a program that we believe is of extreme value, and we look forward to reaching out to more communities with the help of local government units. The third is really product awareness, and how do we, as an industry, make sure that our solutions are known. As I mentioned, we have invested in research within the last couple of years, and as I mentioned, there is most certainly that increased awareness for the importance of insurance, especially when it comes to health protection. Regretfully, as also the research will show, people are unaware of where to start, or when, for example, they have a financial advisor in front of them, they're very hesitant to make decisions because ultimately they feel that it is a lot of jargon, it is very difficult to understand. And so into that, what the Deputy Commissioner had raised in terms of that suspicion that the reliability of claims payment will be an issue, then increases that concern. So from our end at Allianz BNB Life, it's important for us to increase the expertise of our financial advisors and our life changers. And we do this by way of making sure that they always look at what our customers need. It has to start from that, as opposed to product pushing or creating a product and then saying, we will sell this to as many people. It's extremely important that when we do product awareness campaigns, we start always with what the customer needs. On the fourth, and this speaks directly to what the Deputy Commissioner had spoken to, the accessibility to solutions and experts. A big push within the industry, and something that Allianz PNB Life is most certainly a big part of, is digitalization. I've shared with the panel in the beginning that I have lived in Canada for quite a while now, but coming back to the Philippines and seeing that improvement, enhancements to digitalization, access to mobile devices, and actually quite high literacy rates in terms of helping oneself. In Allianz, we call it going from push to pull, where customers help themselves and access insurance products by way of the solutions that we have through our digital channels. Last but not least, and this is where I bring it back to the point about sustainability, there is a hunger for the importance of seeing the purpose of insurance And a key component of this for us at Allianz PNB Life is the story of sustainability. I will be frank, I didn't know much about sustainability in the past. I was, of course, as the Chief Marketing Officer, very much involved with group initiatives. But having been given that responsibility of pushing the sustainability story and advocacies within the company has really helped me broaden my horizons and appreciate that the Filipino public is looking for the connection in terms of what then? Insurance, therefore what? And what is the importance of this? And how do insurance companies contribute? In our small way, as an organization that is considered to be the most sustainable insurance company in the world, we do that in the Philippines. And as I presented previously, we will continue to invest in similar advocacies. I'll leave it there. I know there is going to be a forum later where interesting questions, I'm certain, will be asked about some of these details that I presented. But I bring it back to you, Conrad and Defort, in the meantime.
Thanks, Gino, for your presentation on the truths and consequences of insurance. Conrad, what question would you like to ask the Allianz PNB Life CMO and Head of Sustainability?
Yes, I'm just curious, at what age do mostly, the customers of Allianz get insurance? Do you have an age where there's what we would call where most people or majority of your clients get insurance? I'm just curious about that.
Thank you, Conrad. We of course have solutions for all age groups. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't particularly put it at, those who tend to purchase are more of this particular age, because what we always push for is to make sure, as you had said in the beginning when we were discussing this in the panel, that it is important for policyholders to avail of insurance irrespective of their lifestyle and life stage. Mm-hmm. And so it's important for us always to highlight this, whether through our bank partners or through our life agents, that irrespective of customers' ages, it's important to push insurance and the value of protection.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'd like to repeat that. I've met a lot of motorists that would rather spend on insurance for their vehicles than insurance for themselves. That's quite an irony in the Philippines, and I hope that would change in the future. So that was well answered. And Gino, Sir Gino, magagaling talaga mag-dribble at tumira at sumagot ang mga atenista, the fourth, ano? So sayang di lang nag-translate sa UAAP finals sa game 1. Good luck next time, okay?
Yeah, but I think Deputy Commissioner approves of the results ng game 1.
Okay, that's good. So,
a poet and philosopher named Lenny Kravitz once wrote, "It ain't over till it's over."
Yes, that's very true, and there's a song like that too. So don't hold your breath, Sir Gino, but hold on to your seat. We'll move on to our third keynote speaker before having the open forum portion of our program. So, Sir Defort, introduce our third speaker for this forum.
Our third speaker is a lady with many hats. She is an independent director in numerous companies such as Alipay Philippines, Sweden, and Surpass Incorporated. She is a trustee of the FinTech Philippines Association, and prior to all of that, she was a banker with 22 years of experience as a senior manager at the Philippine National Bank and the National Australia Bank. She continues to be a financial technology or fintech and governance advocate and was appointed as fintech representative to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Open Finance Oversight Committee. With pleasure, I present to you Imelda Ida Chiongson, Chairman of PruLife UK in the Philippines. The screen is yours, Ida.
Thank you, Defort. First and foremost, I want to chime into that Ateneo UP thing. I actually am a lecturer in Ateneo, so there you go. Another one of those. So tatlo na tayo.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you again, Defort. Again, thank you, Dante. Thank you, Blanca, for the invitation. Thank you, Conrad. Thank you, Manila Times. I super like the comprehensive speech made by Deputy Commissioner Bong. Because it's really in line we are with the Insurance Commission when it comes to the financial inclusivity. Okay, so I again, I mentioned this to Blanca. I love your title, Truth and Consequence. And with that, again, it's a total pleasure to be here. Blessed morning to everyone. I'm Ida Chongson. I'm the chair of PruLife UK. And I want to first start with a little bit of a background about PruLife UK. We are actually a subsidiary of PruLife, a publicly listed company in Hong Kong, and with a market presence we are in 23 markets across Asia and Africa. We have been established since 1996, i.e. 26 years. In the Philippines, we have 190 branches, and we have 33,000 strong workforce, the highest number in the Philippines. We are the number one. All insurance companies would mention number one. We are number one, but that is when it comes to the new business annual premium equivalent in 2020, 2021. So you'd be wondering, how did PruLife actually grow from not number one to number one during the pandemic, and the digitalization actually helped there. Also number one in the renewal premium income from variable life insurance products. We actually pioneered the InsurVest or investment link, which is very popular now, and is one of the first insurance company that approved to distribute the US dollar denominated investment link policies in the country. So back to what the Insurance Commission Deputy Commissioner mentioned about the low penetration. It's 1.74 in 2020. Fourth quarter of 2021, it's 2.3. We're down to 1.9. So it's around about the 2%, a very low insurance penetration. And we are with the Insurance Commissioner when it comes to, or should I say, Insurance Commission when it comes to finding out why there is a low buy-in in insurance. Daming minention ni Deputy Com Bong. I want to go highlight first. First is na-mention niya, cannot afford 500 pesos for the income. But I'll tackle that in a little while. Lack of trust. What about the turnaround time? How to reach and to actually get an insurance, i.e. digitalization. He mentioned also, Filipinos, it's not in our stature. It's kind of not built in to save, unfortunately. Is that cultural? Or is that the way that we're brought up, that we are tending to spend, like when we have something, we would want to already purchase something we think we need. I'm going to tackle that in a little while. Don't know how to invest. When I say don't know how to invest, I know I'm generalizing, but it's how to invest. What are the products and services? What are out there? There's so many, it's a bit confusing. And one thing I want to add in the insurance is there's a bit of discrimination when it comes to age, or when it comes to gender. Your partner, especially if you're not married or LGBT, what do you do? Can you actually get insurance from there? And this is where I want to start from the top first into mentioning on the savings. We feel strongly in PruLife, we need to start them young. So bear with me. I'm going to show you a video of, here we go. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put the usual. Let me share screen it again.
This is a PruLife video, right?
It is, it is one of our products, and you can guess who is the target market here. Normally, I would have something to give away if it's a live audience, if you can guess which target market, but bear with me, it's a 48-second video. I know it's an advertising video, but there's an essence to this. Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry. Let me just start that.
Great show, everybody. Here's your pay.
Oh, poor thing.
I wonder where it's been.
Tell us, where does money come from?
Well, it starts like at the mint, where it goes through a printing stint.
Then it's spread throughout the country to the bank or ATM. Then it makes its way to you, my friend. You can earn, save, spend, and donate. This moves our money round at a supersonic rate. Yeah, we wanna earn, save, spend, and donate. Open up a world of possibilities. Let me introduce myself. Prudence is my name. My big tip is let good planning be your aim.
Hi, my name is Bobby, and I'm just a bit confused. My hard-earned cash I always tend to lose.
To the busy bee, that is what my friends call me. I work hard to save, that's what I love to do.
Hi, my name is Pepper. I love to spend and spend, especially on the weekend with my friends.
Earn, save, spend, and donate.
These are decisions that we all have to make.
From the mint the banknotes made to the day that we get paid.
Your money moves to and fro, but you have choices, don't you know?
We've all got such different needs, and spend, save at different speeds.
Yeah, let's think about our money. When we have it in our hands, it is good to understand that we can earn, save, spend, donate our money. You can do what you please, but we are here to listen to choices like these. Hey, my name is Charity. I love to help a friend in need, and the message given money always sends.
Justin is my name, and making dollars is my game. My ideas are big, and so's my earning too.
You can earn, save, spend, and donate. These are decisions that we all have to make. Yeah, we wanna earn, save, spend, and donate to open up a world of possibility. To open up a world of possibility.
So that's where it's been.
Okay, I hope you guys dance hip hop while watching that one. Okay, so cha-ching, it's kind of like the sound of the coin. Cha-ching. We have that product, and what we do here is, this is community awareness. This is the financial literacy. We want to start them young, yet at a school age. And what we've done so far, we have reached over a couple of 100,000 Filipino students. And we also have Cha-Ching Kids at Home. It's an online resources to help and encourage Filipino parents to reach key money management concepts to your children. So you earn, the first thing you do when you earn is set aside savings. Then after that, then you do the spending. And for, we want to imbibe also to the little kids, the ESG, which is donate. So it's earn, save, spend, and donate. We have coordinated with several schools, free. We're in fact covering it. We have certified 2,400 schools today to teach financial education. And this is for young students, and we are actually getting a lot of traction on this. A lot of schools are wanting this because we are providing this free of charge, and it's part of the Cha-Ching Curriculum Financing Accreditation Program, and it's under our foundation. Okay, so when we feel that as little as 50 pesos per month, you now would be able to establish at a young age creditworthiness, and hopefully by the time they grow, they would know then how to go and invest. Okay, so the next point that I want to take up is people are confused. They don't really know how to invest. Who do we contact on investments? We're not experts. That's a typical Filipino. My investment will be time deposit with a bank, but when in fact there are a lot of bank insurance products and services that can help See, you can get an insurance and invest at the same time. And I mentioned earlier on, we have 190 branches. You can do face-to-face if you wish. We have 33,000 strong insurance agencies, licensed agents. And if for the digital savvy, you can download the Pulse app. We're happy to advise that we have the first of its kind. It's an AI-powered health and wellness app. You can download this for free. You don't have to be a PruLife holder. You can do your exercises. There's some cooking there. There's a fantastic app. It's a lifestyle app. And from there, you would be able to get information about Cha-Ching and other products and services that we have. We have been partnering also with other organizations to ensure that we are reachable. It's downloadable through Apple and Samsung, the apps. So moving on, because there's a lot of topics here. The next problem in the insurance when it comes to the inclusion, it's not just the age, there's also gender. Again, let me show you an ad again, please, because it will explain what this is about. And of course, this is by the famous Ben and Ben. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Kind of listen closely to the words that they're mentioning here. Here we go. Oops. Sorry about that. So I'm using a double screen. Bear with me. It will be there in a minute. Here we go.
We're Ben and Ben, and we're a family. We trust PruHealth FamLove, PruLife UK's first and only critical illness plan that covers up to 4 family members under one policy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can take care of yourself.
Nawala pala yung share screen. Sorry about that. Now I thought everyone's enjoying that already. Here we go again.
There.
We're Ben and Ben, and we're a family. We trust PruHealth FamLove, PruLife UK's first and only critical illness plan that covers up to 4 family members under one policy. You can take care of yourself, your dad and mom, and those you've come to love. Because with PruHealth FamLove, there's a plan for every kind of family. It extends to LGBT, common law, and adoptive families. So no matter who you love, mapaninindigan mo yan. Insure your loved ones under one plan. Share the love with PruHealth FamLove.
So there, if you're at the age of 60, how difficult is that to get an insurance? But if you're a parent, your children can get it for you in 4-in-1. Parang coffee yun, 3-in-1. This one is 4-in-1. One premium, you can cover 4. So any of the 4, it can actually avail of it. And one of the difficulties when it comes to having insurance as well is if you're not married or you're adopted, you're in an adopted family or LGBTQ, it's actually hard to get an insurance. But with the 4-in-1, i.e. PruLife FamLove, you can do that. What we're trying to do is to address the problem of the discrimination on gender and the age, especially when it comes to the parents. Okay, but of course, there's only maximum of 4, but 1 premium. Okay, moving on. When it comes to naman the affordability, this is one of my favorite. And this is actually in hand with the micro insurance that's explained by by DepCom Bong. Sabi niya 500 pesos, perhaps, what's that? 7%, 35 pesos, 35 pesos can get you an insurance with Pru-Life. What we're doing is we've actually been making insurance for affordable, flexible first in terms of the package. Instead of getting all in one, you can actually tailor make your own. So you think that you have a high chance of cancer in the family or heart disease, so you only pick that to be able to actually reduce the premium. We have bite-sized products with coverage for infectious diseases and critical illness. This happened to me. One of my household help got dengue, and who's supposed to pay for the hospitalization? And so when it comes to that, we have an annual, a yearly that you can get, and it's becoming so popular that people are becoming more aware that you're going to get bankrupt if, especially paying hospitals, but it could actually help if you get bite-sized product insurances. And I tell you, the premium of these are very affordable. I have a código. For argument's sake, the breast cancer, it's 150 pesos. For dengue, it's 200 pesos for 6 months. I mean, those are affordable. It's bite-sized. And then you just renew it for another 6 months if you wish. And it would be, depende kasi it's tag-ulan and maybe it's dengue. So you can actually tailor make this. And there's other critical illnesses that we actually cover as well. Bite-sized. Okay, so I cannot find my cursor. Here we go. We have all different kinds. When it comes to the bite size, you can pick it and you're wondering, where do I get information? Again, you can, we are open 24 hours when it comes to our app. The customer service is open 24 hours. And you can actually get more information from there. See, one of the problem, according to Deputy Commissioner as well, is who do you trust? I mean, are they fly by night, or what about the turnaround time in getting your when you want to claim? We're happy to say that when you go in, our average is 2.5, and when you claim, when it comes to simple, our average is again 2.9 days. For the more complex ones, we are running at a 10.5 days. Happy to say that when it comes to the statistics on a turnaround time, we are the best in the market, because we want to ensure that we are catering and we are looking after, hearing from the past about the complaints. We are evolving, and the digitalization has actually helped us out. So who to trust? How do you trust the app? Again, for Pru-Life, apart from number one in new business, I am humbly proud to mention that we have been number one in the ASEAN Corporate Governance Scorecard from 2015 to 2020, ranked number 2 in 2021. In short, when it comes to the governance, we are serious that we want to ensure that we are fairly high on this, not for score purposes, but to ensure that we service the clients well. Yeah, some people are saying, are you really that reachable? We are very reachable, apart from 190 branches, apart from 33,000 agents. We are in both the two popular sites. You can buy us in Shopee. You can go through GCash. So we are super accessible. And for those ones, I'm going to turn around kind of here if people would want to quickly check that out. If you want to download the app, take a picture of this now and click it for you to have a look on how powerful the app is. By the way, it even provides you with it's kind of like a semi-avatar. It shows you your body weight, where you can exercise. We want to promote health. We want to promote wellness. With that, while I've already mentioned this about our services, 24/7 access, we are constantly updating the contact information and update on the frequency of the registry of claims. In short, we are there when it comes to wanting to know what the clients are needing. So again, with that, thank you so much, Manila Times, for the opportunity to explain. This is a bigger QR if you wish to access our Pulse app. I'm just going to leave that for about 3 seconds for some people that may wish. I always get a lot of this, say, oh, I cannot get through it. How do you can get it through this QR if you wish right this very moment. And with that, thank you so much. Back to you, the fourth, and Conrad.
Yes, Ma'am Ida, we are very thankful for your presentation. That was very enlightening, especially the outlook of the insurance industry in the Philippines. And the fourth, do you have any questions for the Pro-Life UK chairman?
Actually, I found all the clips you shared with us very interesting, but it's notable how you're making it accessible not just to people in far-flung areas, but people of different demographics. So would you say that you're among the first in the industry to offer insurance to people who are normally of an age no longer catered to by the industry, or even those who of a different persuasion in the LBGT spectrum,
okay,
for them to be able to be beneficiaries of insurance plans?
Okay. Not that we're the first. I'm not actually quite aware if the other insurance companies are doing it, but what we're trying to do when it comes to the age, it's the beginning age. Like if you're getting it at the age of 60, it's difficult, but there's also a limit as to the age that you can get. So for me, and for argument's sake, my parents, although they've already passed away, if I'm going to get insurance for them, and that's part of the 4-in-1, it would not qualify because of the age as well. But if for those ones who are in their 30s with parents of 50s, that could qualify up to the age of 65. And for the LGBTQ, this is a strong clamor. So we plan to how could you insure your partner, which is normally difficult to do in the past. And we're happy to say that we've been able to do that. And again, with the help of the IC, we're hopefully expanding that further. It's a very new product. It has received strong traction in the market. And a lot of people are still not aware of it. And thank you to Manila Times for this opportunity, making people aware of this.
Yes. Could you share with us any success stories about the traction you've had for either inclusivity and accessibility in terms of the new products you've been promoting?
Yes. Well, I'm going to be general on it. I don't have the statistics with me at this point, but we're happy to say that we weren't number one in 2019 or 2018 as far as getting new business, but it became a reverse for us because we have started the Pulse app as early as 2017, and the traction of the Pulse app just increased tremendously. We are digital end-to-end. From the beginning to the end, you can, in fact, close a deal with us in a matter of minutes. And that's why we can also do a quick turnaround time, simply because we, in the board of Pro-Life, our own president is actually an IT person. And two of the ladies, Wen Chen is also an IT person, and another director, which is Director Te. Both women are also, both are into IT. And this is why we were serious from 2020 onwards to ensure that when the COVID hit, that we have been quite prepared. And because of that preparedness, we didn't have downtime. We had a 99% of our workforce working from day one because of the availability of being digital.
Thank you, Ida, for elaborating on your presentation. Conrad, let's invite Bong and Gina to join Ida in fielding questions, particularly the ones from our reporter and our viewers.
Okay, as the former sports editor of the Manila Times, ang unang tanong ko sa inyo, Sir George, sa tingin mo magpapatalo ba ang UP sa Ateneo on court at saka sa Zoom? the the fourth, what can you say about that?
Well, Gino, mukhang kailangan na ng one big fight sa pagsasagot ng mga tanong.
Yeah, okay, then let's get the ball rolling para magkaalaman. So, question number 1. Who are the possible candidates for the next commissioner of the Insurance Commission? We'd like to get the view of 3 of our panelists. I mean, specifically, I want to know, should he or she be an insider or somebody from the industry? I'd like to know your answers. Can we start with Mr. Gino? Sorry for putting you on the hot seat.
Madaling tanong yung sa basketball kasi chairperson Ida taga may bias in sa Ateneo. And, you know, whatever it is, we hope that the best team wins. Sa amin, you know, it doesn't really matter whether insider or from outside. I think we will rely on the wisdom of the current administration to appoint the right person who's deserving.
Okay, so thank you, Sir George. Now let me field this question to the insurance commissioner, the deputy. How has the insurance commission humanized insurance for Filipinos, or in which way the industry can do this to humanize yung insurance, ano? Have you taken steps towards that, humanizing insurance? Because some people find it too technical. I mean, I myself found it too technical when the salesperson was talking to me. I kept asking questions. I couldn't understand much of what he was saying until I made my own research.
Okay, when you say humanize, I take that to mean, so how do we relate to the common tao?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think by introducing, you know, when we introduced microinsurance as, you know, one of the pillars of our government in promoting inclusivity, that's when we really personalized and humanized what insurance is all about. Let me just give you an example. The way we humanize it is particularly for micro. I'll share the experience of one company who started very small but with a very wide range of reach. When they started introducing the product, they actually cross-sold insurance with another product that they sell.
Mm-hmm.
And they focused, since it was micro, as Ida was pointing out, you know, for Pru, they're now issuing products that could provide you cover for dengue, right? For 6 months or 12 months. This product was for fire.
Okay.
So since it's micro, their focus was, you know, the areas of, you know, Commonwealth, Batasan, or Tondo.
Okay.
Right? When they would have claims or when there would be fire, especially during the summer, you know, what this company would do initially, what they would do was after the fire, they would organize, you know, an event and make an event out of paying the claims. So, you know, if you have an event, you know, showing the neighbors of these people who are claimants receiving 5,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos to rebuild their homes, you know, that, you know, just really increased, you know, sales. And then people began, you know, buying. So really, I think the first step to humanize insurance is to show them that, you know, the moment you need it, it will be given to you. I remember Secretary Purisima saying that, you know, insurance is all about trust. When people lose the trust, then, you know, insurance will never fly. And then I think that's always been the focus of the IC since then, to build that trust and then ensure that, you know, claimants are paid not only the right amount, but, you know, timely when they need it. It's useless, receiving money, you know, 2-3 years down the line when, you know, the time that you needed it most, wala, di ba? So that's how we really try to humanize insurance.
Thank you very
Deputy
much.
Commissioner Bong, we have a timely question for you regarding, it's from our Manila Times reporter covering our forum today, Eric Kua, and he's asking, what are the effects of the Maharlika Sovereign Wealth Fund in the insurance industry, given the 2.3% penetration in the market?
I'm not familiar with the structure of the Maharlika Fund. All I know conceptually is that it's supposed to be a sovereign wealth fund,
yes,
to be funded from the earnings of GFIs. At least from the point of view of the insurance industry, I don't know how that would have an impact. Let me refer you instead to a circular that we issued 4 years ago, after NEDA issued its 5-year development plan, encouraging investors to invest in certain infra project. For the IC, what we did at that time was to make sure, well, because in IC, it's not a typical accounting that you do. We have the concept of asset admissibility. So asset admissibility for purposes of solvency, in layman's terms, katanggap-tanggap ba yung asset na yan or yung pera na yan para i-determine kung kaya mo magbayad ng insurance. So it's very important for insurance companies to have their investments admitted. And one of the circulars that we issued that I believe made a real big impact was, the acceptance of investments in infra projects that are listed in the Philippine Development Plan as admissible assets. Now, under the plan, you have, I think, markets, you have slaughterhouses. So if these were proposed as investment schemes for small companies, for the non-life industry or the life industry, this would have been admissible. And then in that sense, that's our little or minute contribution in helping our economy.
So that's an opportunity that's actually open to being tapped by certain sectors, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
May I chime in on that one?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, one of the hats that I'm wearing, I actually handle distress assets. So when it comes to distress assets, there's a lot of businesses nowadays that can survive, but because of what happened in the past couple of years, they need liquidity to be able to survive. Okay, having said that, what happened in Thailand, what happened in the US particularly, the whole project, it was the government that invested in businesses that would have potential to grow. So in concept, it actually is good. The problem of a lot of people when it comes to the Maharlika is where the money is coming from. It's coming from SSS, GSIS, it's coming from DBP Land Bank. And this is where they're saying, no, you got to protect that. That's really our money. And it could go into investment that's not wise and high risk. So back to your question, can the insurance industry look into this in a different model, but having the same concept as in helping out and putting some, if you have a pool of funds in insurance, you segregate and you have a limit, partly in real estate, partly in investments, and so on and so forth. So you have that pool. If you have a similar concept to the Maharlika, and perhaps it doesn't have to come from the government agencies, there is under the SEC crowdfunding. And the crowdfunding, it's at the moment limited to 19. But if you don't limit it, Tom, Dick, and Harry's, or si Maria, si Jose, si Juan, can put in 1,000 pesos, and you have all these crowdfund that can be managed. And I tell you, the better managers are actually the insurance people because they know how to do actuarial. So I think it could be looked again, perhaps in, the point of investments and fundraising is good. It will definitely prime the economy. And I think it could be done in different sets and including the insurance as well on a crowdfunding concept.
What would that require? Would that require an amendment in implementing rules and regulations?
There is an existing regulation under the SEC on crowdfunding. And the way that I see it, and by the way, this is me as Ida Chongson, not as ProLife Chair, talking. It could be done in a sandbox with
yes,
IC.
as mentioned by Deputy Secretary.
Yes. It's a sandbox is a pilot where you do experimental. So it could be done one-off for argument's sake at this point. Crowdfunded, have the wealth already. People may be okay to take a risk of their 1,000 pesos, and instead of limiting it to 19, expand that further and have really good financial advisors handling. I know that's their plan anyway under the Maharlika, but I would say even some insurance people there. So you can have, you can include some insurance products there as well for managing the risk.
Thank you, Ida. Gino, do you have any projects ongoing in the sandbox or in the works with the Deputy Commissioner?
Well, Simon, what we really push for is as I shared, sustainability. We have, in fact, we were invited recently to present to members of the Insurance Commission in terms of sustainability initiatives abroad. Allianz, as I mentioned, is huge on sustainability. It's something that we've really tried to push for as well in the Philippines, and a big part of that for us is also government collaboration. So we were recently, for example, in a summit in Singapore, where our Asia Pacific headquarters is based, and there was good conversation in terms of how the Philippines, unfortunately, lags behind other countries in terms of sustainability regulations. And these are initiatives that we look forward to actually working with local government units and government commissions as well in terms of putting together process and policies.
Well, if I may, Gina, in terms of segueing into other information about Allianz, it is if I understand correctly, a 6-year-old company, and yet you've managed to land yourselves within the top 3. I remember a Manila Times story about how you're number 3 based on certain metrics. That perhaps would you be able to share with us how the company was able to achieve this? What are the actionable, replicable steps that industry players can see as benchmarking or as best practices?
Thank you. Our partnership with the Philippine National Bank, and I know Chairperson Ida having worked there previously, is 6 years old indeed. We made it to top 3 in both gross written premium and NBAP, or new business annualized premium equivalent, as of course, the latest statistics, which is the second quarter. Like what the chairperson had shared, the speed of execution in terms of readiness with the pandemic was very important. We were one of the first insurance companies to have our digital sales process approved. And this was extremely important because our lifeblood, like most insurance companies, is through face-to-face selling. You have financial advisors doing sales in person, but all of a sudden being told, actually, you can't even leave your house. And so what happens then? So it's 2 things. One is, again, the focus and emphasis on making sure that they know their products very well. Conrad had asked the question about humanizing insurance, and that really is about ease of understanding. He speaks often of this car fetish, and car fanatics understand parts very easily, but do people who purchase insurance policies understand what they're buying? So it's important for insurance companies to highlight that, and that is by way, of course, of our intermediaries. And it's been said already, the importance of digital tools in terms of bridging that gap between access and, either getting to product information yourself or working through a financial advisor or life changer in our case. I think the last point worth sharing is that we've done extremely well in terms of our fund performance. Allianz PNB Life has done extremely well in terms of investment products as well. Insurance is good for both purposes, protection and investments. And in that regard, our products and solutions have outperformed the average.
Thank you, Gino.
Let me ask this question to Mamida. We have seen revenge spending in property, retail, and even tourism. Have we witnessed the same type of revenge spending in the insurance industry, especially taking into the account the lessons people have learned from the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, there's a saying that people, you put action when you are affected either by force or by fraud. In this particular case, by force. So people, all of a sudden, in the last couple of years, appreciated insurance. Lalo na yung, particularly the women, when they're, you are left with all these problems and all of a sudden someone's dying in the family and you have to pay for the hospital and you were thinking, oh my goodness, I wish I had that insured and had it covered. If someone passes away in the family and happens to be the income earner, that's even more difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, and yes, we have seen, I don't have the actual statistics at this point, but from there, we have noticed that the increase actually happened with the millennials. So mas conscious. Out of our 33,000 workforce, a big percentage are millennials. So the agents themselves are like gung-ho into, they don't want to sell. It's no longer a selling thing. We want to help. We want to help people be aware that you can cover. So it's a double thing. I know it kind of sounds like a cliche, but you are saving, but at the same time you are insured. It sounds like a cliche, but that's what we are. We in the insurance. Going back to the question on have we seen? We continue to see it. Not necessarily on the context of revenge, like everyone's I'm gonna get insurance. Kind of not like that necessarily, but certainly the awareness is really growing, particularly with the millennials.
It's nice to hear that, and I may not be a millennial, but I appreciate how the millennials are literally pushing this product to us. Now, let me ask this question to the Deputy Commissioner. What can you say about financial technology or fintech, on how has it impacted the way the insurance business in the Philippines, especially if we take into account the digitalization pronouncements of the DOF and other agencies in the government? I mean, the government has been making, let's digitalize and so forth.
Well, for me, personally first, I think we should embrace fintech. There's nowhere else to go but there. That said, so how has fintech affected insurance? Well, it has greatly affected the way we see things, only because insurance for the longest time is something that is sold, right? Not bought. And when I say that it is something sold, there's always a person telling you, explaining all of these things.
Hard to sell. Right.
Suddenly, you're in a situation where, something pops up in your cell phone, or you're surfing one day and suddenly, things pop in and it's there, right, for you to click or experiment. So first, in terms of regulation, the selling of insurance is highly regulated, right? Agents have to be licensed. So initially, when we started talking about, the application of technology in the insurance industry, questions now arise. So do we license, the platform? who's responsible if there's a problem on claims and this product is bought online. So things that we have to think about and continue to think about. And I think that's also the reason why internally in the IC, we're really pushing for also a review of the insurance code. While it has been amended in 2013, technological changes have greatly impacted on how we should be regulating, this particular product, which we find essential for every Filipino. On top of that, fintech, insurtech, right? Products that are coming out where now they can monitor even your blood pressure while you're walking. They can monitor whether you're exercising or not. Definitely a game changer. Accounting wise, we are being directed to include ESG in financial reporting. So all of these things impacting on regulation, certainly necessary for us to be on our toes and adjust as we should, which of course the IC did, as I mentioned earlier, during the pandemic when we allowed online selling, and then now we're definitely open to this. We're observing just like the BSP and the SEC, and hopefully when issues arise, we come up with proper regulation to continue to protect the public.
Thank you very much. As Sir the Fourth, can I ask one more question to
Go ahead,
Mr.
please.
Gino? Yeah. Sir, what can we say about the insurance market today? Is it a seller's market or a buyer's market? Because by the way, I see it's still a seller's market. Do we see the day, or how long will it become, let's say, a buyer's market?
Well, or maybe we can add to that question, how do we change the dynamic where instead of, and there's a unique opportunity given the global phenomenon now of shifting the perspective of something that you have to sell hard to something that you make available for the moment anyone needs to, whether there's technology, the use of technology or not.
Yes.
If I may, I think instead of looking at it as a seller's, a buyer's market, we just go back to the same challenge that we all face of, are we moving the needle in terms of insurance penetration? I think all three of us guests here have really spoken to the same challenges in terms of how that number is stuck at roughly 2% plus or minus. The reality is, given the GDP growth and given what we had raised in terms of the Allianz Global Report with gross financial assets increasing, that number unfortunately is not moving. Or it's not moving fast enough, or it's nowhere near where it should be in terms of the brilliance of the products that are available, the expertise of the life changers, and so on and so forth. What we see, as I mentioned, in terms of the second quarter statistics, soon enough, the third quarter will be out, numbers will be out, and it shows that there has been a marginal increase in terms of new business annualized premium equivalent, or basically same-store sales as the retail market would speak to. But I think we go back again to the same points we've raised. Are we increasing accessibility? Are we increasing understanding? The phrase we like to use again, push to pull. We've acknowledged that insurance is not something you wake up to and say, okay, I need to buy insurance. But we believe that by way of making insurance sexier, easier to understand, and more accessible, that actually makes it a lot easier for Filipinos to say, okay, I think I understand this enough to ask for help, or I think I understand this enough to then be able to reach out and help myself in terms of starting that process. And that for us is where, again, by way of product solutions, availability of services, and making sure that our financial advisors are easy to reach out to would be the important areas of focus.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gino. I think that's like, you can say that's keeping your eye on the ball. So Conrad, we need to check that shot clock. Time will be up after perhaps one last huddle.
Yeah, I have to admit that the Ateneo Blue Eagle did dunk his answers indefinitely. It was a
Well, I
good
have to
dunk.
admit the UP Maroon, our deputy commissioner, also laid up his responses smoothly.
Yeah, I must admit too. I mean, anyway, that's a rivalry, and we're here to discuss what will really benefit the Filipino
I think
insurer.
perhaps we can declare the Filipino people as the winners in this
Yes,
contest
yes.
because we have both sides, all sides of the playing field are huddling together to contribute to the growth of the economy and finding ways to give better penetration in the market in terms of awareness and openness to making it an essential rather than a discretionary expense, as was mentioned.
Yeah, so the score is tied 1-1. As the former sports editor, it's very clear. I can declare that. So yes,
So maybe we can have parting shots.
yes,
Gino, maybe you'd like to go first.
Well, thank you. I just wanted to say again, thank you to the Manila Times and to my fellow speakers. It's been a privilege being here. I think the one point that hasn't been raised is the issue of inflation, right? Yeah, I've been part of other panels before where the question was raised of, nagmamahal ang bilihin, paano pa ako bibili ng insurance? And our message is to stay the course. It is important, arguably more than ever, the importance of protecting your physical and financial assets. Yes, indeed, inflation is pushing up to 8%, and it is a concern. But our guidance and advice is that this is really the time to think through your overall welfare, and insurance is most definitely one of the solutions you should look into in terms of making sure that yourself and your loved ones are well protected.
Deputy Commissioner Bong, your parting shot.
Yes, well, again, thank you to the Manila Times. Just wanted to say that, increasing insurance penetration in this country for financial inclusion is not the responsibility of any one institution, no one person. It is a responsibility of all stakeholders, the companies, the press, the public, and of course, government. Just want to assure everyone that the IC will always be here to create this enabling environment for the industry to thrive while protecting the public and making sure that the concerns of the policyholders are covered every time they need it. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, the lone rose among us thorns, Ida.
Thank you, Thank you, Conrad. Thank you, Manila Times. For the Insurance Commission, we're so happy that we are working together on this. They're being quite open and they have been thinking out of the box. Thank you for that. For the actual industry, and by the way, I'm into fintech, financial technology. It's no longer them or us. It's actually collaboration, and it's music to my ears hearing IC mentioning that it's absolutely necessary to collaborate and do that with the fintech, because we need to reach out to the public. For the people, again, it sounds like a cliche, but getting life protection and investment in one can be one of the smartest things that a person can do during this time. And for PruLife, we'd like to continue to empower both our employees, both our agents, and to empower the people, because our vision is really to help more people get out most of their lives.
Thank you, Ida, Bong, and Gino.
Yeah, with us today are Insurance Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner Ferdinand George Florendo, Allianz PNB Life CMO and Sustainability Head Gino Riola, and PruLife UK Chairman Ida Tiongson. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much. I'm the Fort Villaseran.
And I'm Conrad Carino.
We're also thankful to all our viewers, and we wish that we were able to give you the lowdown on pre-need plans and their repercussions on the Manila Times online business forum titled Insurance, Truth, and Consequence. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
What's true love? Is it having fun na kasama sila?
Dito ba? May true love?
Naman! Cause getting a PruLife UK insurance plan for you and your loved ones? That's true love.
It's when you say, for you, my life is insured.
That's true love.
Because I care, our health is assured. That's true love.
For our future, our investments are in place.
That's true love.
So you don't worry. My retirement is planned for.
That's true love.
When your life, health, investments, and retirement are covered, that's true love.
That's true love.
Sign up for a year and pay less than 71 pesos per month. Visit tmt.ph/premium to get your free 30 days of the Manila Times Premium.